Her kitchen is where the magic is made.
Hi there, welcome to my channel or welcome back. I'm Holly, your friendly neighborhood carnivore, and I am so happy you can join me today. Today we are going to be reminiscing about some of our favorite Christmas time treats that we've had throughout the years. I know I've told you guys before that I started out, of course, with the standard American diet like everyone else. And throughout the years, I segued into gluten-free and to dairy-free, and then I brought dairy back and segued into keto, and I love that. And then I've segued into carnivore, and then I segued into a dairy-free version of carnivore, and that's where I currently am living. I am a dairy-free carnivore. I'm sure you can imagine there have been lots of changes that I have made throughout the years to the types of treats that I enjoy during the holidays. But one treat that I enjoyed from a young age up until now, and it broke my heart when I went dairy-free and had to cut it out, was eggnog. So, of course, way back when I was a kid, I was enjoying eggnog, and I would just buy it from the store, and it was that super sugary, really sweet stuff. But man, I loved it. It was delicious. And I know eggnog is a love it or hate it, take it or leave it kind of a treat. And I'm sure if you are not a lover of eggnog, you probably did not click on this video to watch it. So I'm probably just talking to other eggnog lovers right now. So I loved having that eggnog. And then when I went dairy-free, it was a sad day when I realized I wouldn't be able to have my eggnog. And then I found, oh no, I can still have it because there's soy versions and almond versions and things like that. There weren't a lot of options at the time, but there were some. I tried them and they weren't great, but they still kind of gave me that holiday feeling that I was looking for, so I enjoyed them. Then time goes by. When I got to keto, I was making most of the treats that I used to just purchase from the store because I would make my lower carb versions of these. And I was able to make eggnog again. Of course, I would use keto-friendly sweeteners in it. And depending on what time this was during my journey, I might have had it made with coconut milk or macadamia milk, or I might have made it with goat milk because I can tolerate goat dairy a little bit more than cow dairy. So throughout the years, I've had different ways of bringing this back. But I am very much a dairy-free carnivore right now, and I have been toying with the idea of doing some goat milk during the holidays so I could have some eggnog and maybe some goat cheese and things like that. But every time I think about it, I just think about the inflammation that I get, and I just don't want to go there. I don't want to do it. So instead, I decided to play around this year with some eggnog ideas and see if I couldn't make a dairy-free version of eggnog that was, if not 100% carnivore adjacent, carnivore friendly, maybe ketovore might be the right word for it. I'm not using any kind of nut milks, and there's a couple of different options we can have. So today I'm going to show you the most basic, just spiced eggnog that's a dairy-free version. But then I'm also going to show you that you can have alternatives, and you could have coffee nog, or you could have chai tea nog. So there's lots of different things you can do to play with it. Let's get over here in the kitchen and we'll show you how we make it. And then I cannot wait to have a taste test with you guys.
We're going to start off with 6 egg yolks. I'm going to separate them from the whites, and I am placing them in a cold saucepan. The stove is not turned on yet. This is a cold saucepan. Once the yolks are separated, it's time to measure out our boiling water. Or if you're using hot coffee or hot tea, this is the time to get it measured out. Grab your whisk and go ahead and pop those yolks and get them whisked up just a little bit. And then you can go ahead and add your melted ghee or melted butter or brown butter. Go ahead and whisk that in, and then it is time to slowly add your boiling liquid. So I've got water here. I'm going to add a little bit and I'm going to whisk it. This is to keep the eggs from scrambling. We're just going to whisk and add a little at a time until we've eventually got it all in there. And you will notice that amidst doing this, I went ahead and turned the burner on, and it is on a low setting. Next up, I'm going to add my allulose and get that mixed in. After that, I'm going to mix in all of my dried spices and a pinch of salt. And now we just whisk while this slowly cooks. You're going to notice that you're going to have some foaminess on top. That is just fine. You do not want this to simmer. You want it to just get a little bit foamy and you want it to steam, so make sure that heat is staying low. You will know when this is done cooking when it thickens up ever so slightly and it coats the back of a spoon. I'm going to show you the difference here. This is not quite done yet, and this is what it's going to look like on the back of the spoon. It's not sticking real well. You see it kind of slides and drips off. So we need to keep letting it cook. And I did go ahead and taste it here because I hadn't given it a taste yet, just to make sure that my flavors were good, and I'm happy with them. This took about 10 minutes on the stove. I've got my spoon here. I'm going to show you what it looks like once it coats the spoon. And this is perfect. It is done. It needs to be removed from the heat. I made a mistake and I kept cooking it thinking I could get it a little bit thicker, but I know now what I did wrong, and that's not what I would recommend. As soon as this coats the spoon, you are done. Remove it from the heat, and then you can get it into the refrigerator to be cooling overnight, and it will thicken up beautifully on its own. Once you remove it from the heat, it is finally time to add the vanilla extract and the rum extract and get that mixed in, and then you are ready to pop it in the fridge. I went ahead and hit mine with the immersion blender afterwards. You really do not have to do this step if you removed it from the heat as soon as it coated the back of the spoon. And finally, I am funneling my eggnog into my bottle so I can pop it in the fridge. Serve this up in a festive glass and top it off with a little bit of nutmeg or cinnamon, and you have got yourself a cup of cheer.
So I made this yesterday, and that way it was able to chill overnight so that all the flavors could come together and get really delicious. So that's what I recommend doing, is chilling it overnight. But here is my nice ice cold glass with my little gnome on it of Christmas cheer. This is completely dairy free. This is the one that was made with water. And let's have a taste. Oh, it smells noggy. Ooh, yes, this is rich, creamy, all the flavors are there. It's got some good spices in there to it. It's very eggnoggy. I'm loving it. It would be great with a little bit of rum or bourbon in it. Okay, the only thing that I noticed that could be an issue is that some of the ghee has separated, so there are a few little like clusters in there, which it doesn't bother me, but it's not as smooth as it could be. Maybe hit it with an immersion blender one more time before you serve it after it's chilled overnight, and that will help take care of that. But this is a win. I've got some coffee and some chai made up, and I'm about to go make a batch of those. So if I get a chance, I'm going to record a taste test of those for you guys too. But I love being able to have an option of some delicious eggnog during the holidays and not having to worry about if it's going to have dairy in it that's going to make me inflamed, or the non-dairy versions that are out there are typically made with soy or nut milks, and that's gonna make me inflamed too. So that's no good. So this right here, this is a win. Okay guys, it's a day later. I did go ahead and make the coffee nog and the chai nog. I'm going to share those with you. So I've got them over here on the counter. So this one is our beautiful coffee nog. This one is our chai nog, and this one is the one that we made that's just the spiced eggnog. So when I did my taste test yesterday on the spiced nog, this one was made with water. I didn't add any extra flavoring in there as far as the fluid goes that I added in here. It turned out really good. The coffee nog and the chai nog, really, they turned out excellent. I'm going to taste them, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys. I talked about this one, the fat separating and being like having little pieces of the ghee in there. These other two didn't do that. I think what happened was I cooked this one too long trying to get it thicker, whereas these I pulled off as soon as they were thick enough to coat the spoon, and then they thickened up beautifully as they chilled in the fridge overnight. So that, I believe, was the situation. So don't overcook this trying to get it thicker. Just, you know, get it to the point where it's steaming. Start checking with the back of a spoon to see if it coats the back of the spoon, and then when it does, remove it from the heat and you're gonna be good. You can go ahead and hit it with an immersion blender once it's done if you want to, but really I don't think it's necessary, seeing as how these turned out perfectly. So let's see. Okay, this one's the coffee and this one's the chai. This one's a little bit darker, so that's how I know. I'm gonna try the chai one first. It smells really good. That's different. It's rich and creamy, a lot of flavor, even more spiciness, obviously, because we've got the spiced chai tea in there. I actually had to add a little bit more sweet to this one because the sweet flavors just were not coming through enough, which I thought was odd. I didn't expect that from the chai tea because I don't usually need to sweeten that. All right, and then here we have our coffee nog. Oh my gosh, it smells so good in coffee. Ooh, that is like having a fancy, rich, delicious coffee from, say, Starbucks or some other fancy coffee chain. A lot healthier, a heck of a lot healthier, and it tastes like Christmas. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. So good. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a like and don't forget to subscribe. Both of those things really help the algorithm so I can push these videos out to more viewers. Please leave me some comments telling me what kinds of things you guys like to enjoy during the holidays. I am always looking for new recipes to create or ideas of things to do. So, you know, share with me some things that you guys enjoy or things that you used to enjoy that you miss that you don't know how you can enjoy it now. With the type of diet and lifestyle that you follow now, maybe I can come up with a solution for that. You can find me over on X or on Instagram. On Instagram, I am at Friendly Neighborhood Carnivore. On X, I'm having a slight issue over there. My account, Carnivore Friend, was hacked. I thought I could have had this resolved by now, but I am still fighting it. So my temporary account is Carnivore Holly. You can find me over there. If and when I get my other account back, I will let you guys know, but the struggle is real. If you guys have any suggestions or you know someone that can expedite things, I have been back and forth with X, but everything is done through AI, so there's no human that's able to help me, and it's a very, very frustrating process. I've been fighting this for almost a whole month now. It's been almost 4 weeks. And that's at the time of recording this. So the struggle is real. So anyways, go make you a cup of cheer and I will see y'all next time. Bye. Cheers.
She's the friendly neighborhood carnivore with a talent for cooking up a meaty uproar. From juicy steaks to sizzling ribs galore, she'll have you coming back for more. Fellas, smash that like button. She's the carnivore cooking queen. On your screen, bringing the meaty scene. Come on over and join the team for culinary